All right, Nintendo, if there was ever a time to just finally officially pull back the curtain and reveal your next-gen hardware, I think it's now, because we actually have third-party partners that are putting out new games, straight up teasing them for Nintendo's next-gen platform, not putting a Nintendo Switch logo at the end of a reveal for an upcoming game, but rather just straight up the Nintendo logo, and even including some animated eyeballs, very similar to that side look eyes that you would send it as an emoji, like what's going on with this. Yes, I think developers and publishers are actually to the point where if Nintendo's not going to officially reveal their next gen, ramp up, but we have to talk about what game in question was just revealed for Nintendo's next gen console, and likely not the current family of Switch systems, and break down whether or not this gives us any further indication on the likelihood of just how close we are from an official reveal of their next gen successor hardware from Nintendo themselves. So we'll get on the same page with all of that. Before we do, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your bell notification to join Sunbro Nation if you're new here. And what is the game in question that we are talking about? It is none other than Yooka-Replay-Ly, which is a ridiculous name on the surface, but it's the way of them incorporating Yooka-Laylee, the replay edition. This game is not coming to prior gen consoles like the PS4 and Xbox One, but is rather PS5, Series X and S. And the big zinger at the end of the trailer, you can see it on screen, when Nintendo's logo pops up, it is just that, a logo, and literally some dancing eyeballs pop up on top of Nintendo specifically, where in every other Nintendo Switch game reveal, if it's just for the current system, you see a Switch logo. You don't see just the Nintendo logo, and they're even kind of pointing out the fact that, hey, look at this Nintendo icon, they're putting eyeballs dancing on top of it. So that is interesting, because what this really means at its core, yeah, we're going to release it on Nintendo consoles, whatever that means, or just on Nintendo, but we're not at liberty to say what that system is, so we're going to include their logo at the end of our trailer, and you probably know that means it's just coming to their successor platform. Now, we will bring our game to Nintendo's next-gen platform, but this is the first time that a company of like sizable measure that isn't just talking in some kind of an interview, but rather putting out a PR trailer to promote their game, is doing such a direct reference to releasing for Nintendo's next-gen console. And it's really something that's not unacceptable or even kind of like a sleight of hand at Nintendo, I don't feel like, because while some people want to act like the Switch 2 or whatever the successor hardware isn't real, we know it's real, because Nintendo, everybody knows that the Switch 2 is a project, is coming. It is literally being cited online with the components that you can view public shipping data that Nintendo is ordering to their parts suppliers, which just recently increased the order numbers exponentially. It probably is in mass manufacturing now. It at least was getting close to those levels back in August, but having this Nintendo logo with eyeballs pop up for this Yooka-Replay their own schedule, and if Nintendo waits as long as they have to talk about officially what they have cooking in terms of next gen hardware, companies can make this type of decision to just go ahead with the trailer as they see fit for the marketing of their own game, since they are in a partnership with Nintendo. Nintendo's not their direct. Even the consensus amongst journalists is that this is indeed for Nintendo's next gen hardware. You can see this following article typed up over at My Nintendo News, which reads, Yooka-Replay-Ly coming to next Nintendo system. Playtonic has announced that their remake of Yooka-Laylee, which is titled Yooka-Replay-Ly, will be coming to consoles. Nintendo fans will have to wait a bit longer, as it seems it's coming to the next Nintendo system rather than the current Switch system. And they proceed to mention there's some hands-on opportunities at an event over in London that you can check it out, and they mention to watch the trailer, but some interesting bullet points below that are more beautiful than ever, with art and animations overhauled and enhanced performance and resolution. The favorite buddy duo has never looked or moved better. New and improved challenges, improvements to existing in-game challenges, and many entirely new challenges to discover and undertake. New collectible currencies. Capital B's inept minions have dropped their hard-earned coins all over the place. Collect the official currency of the Ivory Towers to spend on the video game's most beloved. Sentient Vend Tracker helps you know where you are and what needs to be done. Vendy has plenty to offer. Tonics are back with all new flavors. With the option to equip multiple game-changing enhancements, you can truly customize your playstyle. And if that wasn't enough, Vendy has new lines of merchandise for the modern fashionable adventure. And this is the big one for fans of this game: revised to combine moves more fluidly, while the new camera controls makes farming the action a breeze. A dreamy orchestral soundtrack, the original score from the famed video game composer Grant Kirkhope, known for Banjo-Kazooie, and David Wise from Donkey Kong Country, returns, but as a beautifully arranged orchestral score. So first of all, the nice thing about this game is it sounds like it's getting a lot of things reworked, and is not just kind of your run fun of the over at Sony with them picking some very recent games, repurposing them, just doing some new visual upgrades, but that's about it for the next gen consoles. This actually does seem, for in the world of 3D platformers where we don't have a ton of them, to be an exciting project. I will probably be picking this up as a Switch 2 hopefully launch game. Again, want to drive home the point that this does not have any PS4 or Xbox One support from what we see. This is just the current gen consoles, and we just have Nintendo's platform being teased with some eyeballs sitting on top of it. There is at this point in time no official release date, but I would imagine a follow-up trailer of some sort once we learn about the Switch 2's release date, and maybe this could indeed align with the launch of the console. Now, obviously, Nintendo's not going to let them have that logo in there. I would think that that would break the internet with speculation that this is probably a Switch 2 launch title, and maybe we now know the date of that, especially if it was in line with like that March to April time frame. Like, we are still hoping to see the console revealed this year and then announced for that time frame in terms of its launch. You may have given up all hope. I personally haven't at this point. I really like next week, but again, that's not guaranteed. It's hard to tell with Nintendo, but there's still a lot of smoke around this that Nintendo could be revealing their platform soon. And at the very least, while I don't think that this game announcement directly ties into the likelihood that, yeah, this means Nintendo's right around the corner from being able to get the buzz drummed up, I don't think it was that intentional. I just think companies at this point in time are going to do their own thing with or within your game for like a 6-month time window. Around the window it's going to be released, and you want to promote it, you want to give it the best foot forward to sell as a multi-platform title, you have to start marketing it. And if you want fans to know that, hey, Nintendo players out there, we will have our game ready for your console, just not necessarily your. And just surprising that Playtonic actually did the eyeballs thing on top of it to make it that much more of a tease that we have dev kits. This game's being in development for the next gen Switch, but not the current Switch. That's what I think the long and short of this all really means. And while I wish it was tied to some kind of official Nintendo announcement at this point in time, obviously we have to wait and see if next week, if it happens, maybe the first week of November. But I've said multiple times in videos, and this is where my actual mindset is, if we go to the November 5th investors briefing and Nintendo still has not announced their successor console, at that point we are likely looking at a 2025 reveal. But at the very least, at the November 5th investors briefing, we will. I really want to hear from you guys at this point in the video what you think about Yooka-Laylee. First of all, like, is it a game that has your interest peaked and a 3D platformer in the modern era and the visuals as good as they look? Are you excited for this to come to Nintendo's next gen platform? Do you think this is all somehow a giant misunderstanding, and even though it's going to be for Switch 1, it's not actually promoted for Switch 2 and they just chose to use the Nintendo logo and eyes on there? I don't see how that's the conclusion people can come to, but I know some people like to keep their expectations very low. And do you think that this in one direction or another gives us any more information to go off of in terms of the likelihood of a reveal from Nintendo for their next gen hardware officially from them, not just this talk of the next gen successor being revealed within this fiscal year? So make sure you share all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below before you leave, regardless if we agree or disagree. Also,